Welcome to Ironman triathlon training on a busy schedule. Have you ever desired to complete an Ironman triathlon? I have. In fact, I've signed up for one next year. In doing so, I thought I would research and find out a little information about the triathlon. You might ask, what is an Ironman triathlon? Well, you swim 2.4 miles, you get out of the water and you ride your bike 112 miles, you get off your bicycle and then you run a marathon, a total of 140 miles altogether. So quite the endurance event. Usually it takes amateurs between 12 to 16 hours to complete. In signing up for this, I knew I had to put in some training time, but I've got a busy schedule and I don't have that much time to train. So I wanted to do some research to find out what is the best way, most efficient way to train for a triathlon. And so in doing so, I've gathered some information that I will present today. I will present the best way to train for a triathlon, and I will list some common mistakes beginners make. Okay, you can train with limited time for a triathlon, but you must incorporate and make your training efficient and effective. Many amateur triathletes, you may have heard, they put in a lot of time in training. In fact, the average, according to Ben Greenfield, who is a renowned triathlon trainer and fitness expert, says that athletes on average ride 300 miles biking, 300 miles or 30 miles running, and 10,000 meters swimming every week. I don't have time for that, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. So there's got to be a better way to do that. There is. What you need to do is incorporate interval training into your plan. What is interval training? It's when you have periods of high intensity or moderate intensity training followed by periods of rest. So you run very fast for a minute and then you rest for 2 minutes or walk, and then you run again. And studies have shown that this type of training, compared to control groups who do continuous training, where you just go out and run for a long time, studies have shown that the ones that do intermittent or interval training have a higher aerobic capacity, get trained better, and they lose weight better. They're more fat loss. So that is the key. Make your time efficient, add interval training into it. Another thing that's important is your nutrition while you're doing your race and leading up to it. One of the most important things you can do is practice with the nutrition you use in the race. I actually found out this the hard way. I first attempted a triathlon, Ironman triathlon, back in 2010, and I completed the swim portion. I completed about 60 miles of the bike, but I had never trained with the gels and the sports drinks and that type of thing that they use during the race, and I got sick. And to the point where I actually had to drop out of the race and couldn't finish it. So train, get used to the food that you're going to eat on the race. At least once a week, use that food on a long training ride. Another thing that is important to remember with nutrition is don't forget to eat and drink. Many times beginners will just get going and they'll go for a while, they're feeling great, and they forgot to keep up. When you're doing a long distance event like that, you have to eat regularly. And if you've come to the point where you didn't, it's too late. So you got to keep up on that. Okay, another common mistake beginners make is not saving enough energy for the finish. They go out too hard, too fast, and then there's no energy left in the tank. So you've got to hold back a little bit, save some energy for the finish, which is so important. Okay, so listen, if you want to do a Ironman triathlon, you can do it even if you have a busy schedule. But the important thing is you've got to get interval training into your training plan, practice the nutrition that you're going to eat on the race, and don't forget to eat and drink. And then save some energy for the finish. If you do this, you'll be able to cross the finish line smiling and ready to go. Are there any questions?